welcome you. Welcome to those who are still with us after Monday Night Football. We had Monday Night Football tonight. We had Chicago versus Washington, or as Trump would call it, the Hellhole Bowl tonight. What a day for Donald Trump. You know what? He finally did something positive today, and I want to give him credit for it because I know he's not the type to take credit for himself. Trump was in Israel and Egypt today to celebrate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. All 20 Israeli hostages are home after 738 days. Almost 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees have been released. And while we're only in the first phase of what will undoubtedly be a long and tricky process, the fact is the bombing has stopped, the hostages have been released, and Trump deserves some of the praise for that. And so I know it sounds crazy to say, but good work on that one, President Trump. Now maybe you can not invade Portland. Just an idea. I mean, while you're on a roll, Trump was in a celebratory mood today, posing for victory photos. The man of the moment, and you know, when he isn't double fisting McFlurries, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. He kind of does part of YMCA, I don't know, or Zumba, I'm not sure what that is, but maybe he's trying to fly. But Trump took part in a signing ceremony, becoming the first U.S. president to sign a ceasefire agreement with a Sharpie the size of a Subway sandwich. A lot of people were surprised that Trump was able to help get this ceasefire finally done, but I guess we probably shouldn't have been. This is a man who knows the Middle East better than anyone. Here he is talking about the close proximity between Iran and Qatar.
They're literally, you walk over from Iran to Qatar. You can walk it in 1 second. You go boom, boom, and now you're in Qatar.
God, I didn't know you go boom, boom, and you're in Qatar. And then we looked it up, and it turns out the reason I didn't know it is because it's wrong. It's very, very wrong. You cannot walk from Iran to Qatar. You could swim 150 miles, but unless you're Jesus, you cannot walk there. Trump's been lobbying hard to try to win the Nobel Prize for Peace. He really wants that Peace Prize. So he's been talking pretty much nonstop about this for the past 2 weeks. And so it was with bigly disappointment that on Friday, the Nobel Committee made the following announcement.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
Nonsense. Bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Come on, nobody likes a sore loser. I mentioned last week the Norwegian government, they have one, by the way, the Norwegian government. They was worried about Trump retaliating against them if he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. And the woman who did win, Maria Corina Machado, was maybe a little nervous about it, too, because she felt the need to call him about it.
The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. A very nice thing to do.
Yeah, that was a nice thing for the person who got the Nobel Prize to do today. I don't know why they gave this to me. It should have gone to you, Mr. President. So now Trump's focused on winning the prize next year, which is fine. Let him keep trying to make peace. I'm fine with coming up with prizes and trophies to motivate him. Give them the Nobel Reopen the Government and Leave Healthcare Alone prize. No problem with that. Speaking of healthcare, Trump got a physical on Friday, and good news, his blood pressure, cholesterol, and genius are all stable. His doctors say he's in excellent health and fully capable of continuing to make sure that millions of his fellow Americans aren't. Interestingly, the White House doctor left Trump's weight off the report. Usually they put the weight. Instead of his weight, he wrote that Trump has a great personality, which is nice. It's also interesting to note that Trump got both the flu and COVID vaccines at his checkup. After all this, he got the flu vaccine, he got the COVID vaccine, he ate a whole bottle of Tylenol, and he washed it down with a gallon of red dye number 2, while RFK was screaming and crying and pounding on the door outside. And if you're wondering if it's hypocritical for Trump, who has denigrated these vaccines, to get them while his health officials make them difficult for the rest of us to get, the answer is yes. It is. It's like if we found out Nancy Reagan was smoking crack the whole time. Today, Also happens to be Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day, which is a federal holiday. Although with the government shutdown, every day now is a federal holiday. We're on day 13 with no end in sight. A majority of Americans blame Republicans for the shutdown. Republican leaders are still trying to blame Democrats for the shutdown, even though they control the House, the Senate, and the White House. It would be like Trump blaming January 6th on Joe Biden, which he actually did do yesterday. Look at this. The Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so, which it is, a lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam. Do something, President DJT. Joe Biden planting 274 FBI agents in the crowd is diabolical, especially considering the fact he somehow did this 2 weeks before becoming president. For a brain-dead vegetable, he couldn't even sign his own name. Somehow Joe Biden was able to get a lot of stuff done. It's amazing. You know, those mass layoffs Trump has been threatening are happening. More than 4,000 federal employees were fired over the weekend, some by accident. The Department of Health and Human Services mistakenly fired. They sent home and then had to rehire hundreds of employees, including the leaders of the measles response team and the group working to contain the Ebola virus. More than half of the CDC workers fired on Friday were reinstated a few days later. And on behalf of those of us who work here at Jimmy Kimmel Live, we feel you. We've been there ourselves. Welcome back. This guy... This is not the first time this has happened. He built his whole career saying, "You're fired." He can't even do that right. And then we have our Secretary of Health and Human Services who continues to spread medical misinformation, including this absolute beauty.
This morning before I came in here, somebody showed me a TikTok video of a pregnant woman, 8 months pregnant. She is an associate professor at the Columbia Medical School. And she is saying F Trump and gobbling Tylenol with her baby in her placenta.
The baby was in her placenta? No wonder she was gobbling Tylenol. Just for reference, and I also noticed only the women in the audience were laughing at this. The baby does not live in the placenta. The baby lives in the uterus. But I'm glad our nation's top health official is getting his information from TikTok. In fairness to RFK, he isn't only confused about what happens beyond the vagina, he doesn't know much about the penis either.
There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. It's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, you know, none of this is dispositive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. But, you know, there's a tremendous amount of proof or evidence, I would say, as a non-doctor, but I've studied this a long time.
As a non-doctor, he studied this a long time. And, you know, as a non-pilot, I think planes should have windows that open so when we fly, we could get fresh air and talk to the birds and whatnot. And by the way, I looked up these studies that RFK mentioned. They are shakier than his voice. These guys, they sit there and they blather and no one calls them out on it. Listen to Trump here talking about the amount of liquid in vaccines.
There's something that's artificially, I think, induced, something, whether it's the vaccines in terms of these massive vaccines that are twice the size of a jar like that, of a glass of water like that, into a baby's body. And I've suggested get them in doses, get them in, you know, maybe 20%, 30%.
Does he really think you could pump 2 mason jars worth of vaccine into a 6-pound infant? It'd be like a human water balloon. A dose of vaccine contains about 0.5 milliliters of liquid. Now, Guillermo, show everyone how much liquid that is. Let's get a tight shot of that. That is how much liquid is in a shot. It's 1/20th of a shot, okay? Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Nothing.
And now, did that have any effect on you whatsoever?
No, but I think I need another one.
Okay. You know, it's very difficult to follow all the new information that supposedly links vaccines and circumcision to autism. But thankfully, the White House has released a new video that I hope will clear it all up.
A message from the President of the United States of America.
Hello, everyone. This is your favorite president with an important announcement about circumcision. Some call it bris, the big snip, going sleeveless, chop suey, baba booey. I call it circumcision, and Bobby Kennedy, our smartest scientist after me, is saying circumcision is linked to autism. When I was circumcised as a baby, the doctor said, Sir, it's too big. It has to be circumcised or it wouldn't be fair to everyone else. So little baby me said, that's fine. Take what you want. I won't even notice. It's like plucking a feather from a fat goose. But it didn't hurt my brain. My sons got circumcised. Look at them. They didn't get the good autisms like the late great Rain Man played by Dustin Hoffman, who also played Captain Hook. Peter Pan wasn't circumcised. The radical left had girls play Peter Pan on Broadway, which I was never a fan of, like Mary Martin. We hate Mary Martin. We love Sandy Duncan, even though she only had one eye because her mother gave her Tylenol. With that said, I am pleased to announce a brand new trading card. Every single one has an actual piece of presidential foreskin. Trade them with your friends. Chew them like bubble gum. Just $799. Thank you for your attention to this matter and to my magnificent dong.
To order your own piece of presidential penis, visit OwnTrumpsHog.com.